Good morning. Welcome to Let's Get Growing Facebook Live. We're here in the garden today, and hey, it's not raining. How about that? We certainly have been blessed this summer with a pretty good amount of rain, at least in our area. I was down in the Niagara area last week and earlier this week, and boy, they were getting a lot of rain as well. So nice to see green grass in the middle of summer. It's certainly a big benefit for the gardens. But aside from that, we're going to look at just a couple of things blooming in the garden at this point, in the shade garden particularly. And one thing I want to talk about is hosta flowers. We always look at hostas, we always look at foliage. They tend to be, sort of the go-to shade plant. And with good reason. I mean, there's such a wide range of hostas available, from tiny miniatures up to monstrous plants, every foliage color in between. But I always hear so often people go in and cut all the flowers off their hostas. And, well, I agree, some of the earlier blooming ones that bloom in June and the first part of July aren't always terribly exciting in their bloom. Often kind of a dingy, pale lavender that's not real exciting to look at, and can take away from the foliage a little bit. But as we get into the summer and later into the summer, hosta flowers get better and better. So it's something to be thinking about and looking at and considering, at least when you're making hosta selections. Now, the first one, and this comes into bloom a little bit earlier, so it's a bit of deviation from what I was saying. This is Hosta ventricosa marginata. It's a beautiful variegated hosta, good easy grower, but it has beautiful dark purple flowers with stripes. I'm going to pull this in, Laura. I don't know if you have to focus or anything, or if you can see, but look at the detail. Can you get that? Mm-hmm. Look at the detail in that flower. It's very dark purple. Then it has these even deeper purple stripes and white edges. It's a very striking flower over the variegated hostas. Now, another one as we move down the path here, one of my favorite blooming hostas is this little one here. Very nondescript green leaf, not terribly exciting, probably one you would walk past in any garden center, but when in bloom, it's one of the most beautiful. This is Hosta Betsy King, and it's a ventricosa. It's got a little bit of ventricosa in its history, so it brings in that same purple flower. In full bloom right now, late July. I'll bring the flower up again. Bigger than ventricosa marginata, but similar with that dark striping and that wonderful deep purple with a bit of a white edge here and there. No fragrance yet, but it is really an outstanding hosta if you can find it available. Unfortunately, these green leaf ones tend to get pushed aside by general garden centers because, who wants a green hosta? But it's an excellent plant. It's small, it's an edger, it's a ground cover type. Goes really well with our Ethereum ferns, Our Lady in Red that we talked about last week or the week before. Really good plant that way. So watch for the flowers of that one. As we come along the walkway a little bit, I'm just going to go away from hostas for a second and talk about persicarias. This is a young Persicaria amplexicaulis in here. I think we're actually going to move it back, put it up underneath the hydrangea behind us, and let it fill in. But Persicaria amplexicaulis is a plant we don't see used a lot here. It's a good, strong, clump-forming plant. Floriferous, blooms from about a week ago until frost kills it down in October. It really is an excellent plant. The typical variety we see is firetail, with a nice spike of dark red flowers. But if you look around a bit, you'll see a lot of other selections around, from dark reds through pinks, orangey reds, and all the way to a white. Full sun, semi-shade. They're a great filler type perennial. You probably wouldn't leave them on their own, but tuck them in around grasses, eupatoriums, other big bold perennials, even shrubs that bloom in the late summer like the hydrangeas. And the Persicaria amplexicaulis are a wonderful filler type plant that's going to give you flower right through the latter half of the gardening season. And the bumblebees go crazy for them, and honeybees go crazy for them as well. So they're great in that respect. But I love them because the length of bloom is almost unparalleled amongst many perennials. So keep an eye out for those guys. I'm going to back up down the walkway a little bit. I'll let Laura follow me. We're just going to skip past some of these beds. We're going to look at a couple of more hostas. All right, here we are. So again, here's another green leaf hosta that packs such a fantastic punch with its flowers. It should be in every garden. This is Lakeside Lollipop. It's a smaller one. It's, what is it, about, well, in bloom, it's about maybe 30 inches tall tops. This clump's been here for many, many years, and it's only about maybe 24, 30 inches across. Not big leaves, hand-sized big leaves, but look at how dense and showy those flower spikes are. Really, really fantastic. The bumblebees are right here, in and out of the flowers. They love them. Even if you didn't like your hosta flowers, you should leave them on for the bumblebees, because they love them. So be aware of that. Now, I don't think, no fragrance on that one, but these two big monsters that I'm standing in between here will start giving us fragrance. And there are some fantastic hostas that bloom in the latter half of the summer that give us wonderful fragrance. And the fragrance is passed down through all those varieties that are used them as parents. So off to my left is Hosta plantaginia, often known as the August lily. Again, big plain green leaf, but when this blooms in August, it has huge, pure white, trumpet-shaped flowers that are powerfully fragrant. One of the best fragrances in the garden for late summer. This big clump to my right, this is Hosta plantaginia Aphrodite. It's the double-flowered form of plantaginia. It's a little shy in flowering unless you grow it in full sun. One of those hostas that actually likes the sun. So we grow this one here in about 6 to 8 hours of direct sun, and it loves it. Plantaginia as well. Get your best bloom from that with a lot of sun. But you should be planting these varieties because the fragrance is fantastic. If you want a bit of foliage color to go along with the fragrance, look for anything that blooms in August with white flowers. If you want to look for a group, one of the best hybrids that's come from the plantaginias in that I think anyway, is guacamole. It's a wonderful gold center with a green edge. It's got a big white flowers, very fragrant. And then anything in that whole guacamole series, of course, you've got names like avocado, tortilla chip, fried green tomatoes, and it just goes on with the food names. But if you want fragrance in the garden in the late summer, look for any of the hostas that are going to give you that big white flower in the late summer. Very worthwhile. And don't cut off your hosta flowers. Let them bloom. The insects love them. We got any questions coming up, Laura, today?
No questions at the
No
moment.
questions. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up then for today. I won't be on next week with Facebook Live because we will be in Ireland and Scotland. So watch for our clips that Paul Zaman and I will do on Instagram, and we will do daily posts from all the gardens that we're visiting. So be prepared for that, and we'll see you back live again in a couple of weeks. Thanks for watching. Let's Get Growing Facebook Live.